Goedemiddag. Hoe gaat het met jouw schaap, lekkerding? Hallo allemaal, dat is to be. Vandaag gaan we oefenen met klanken. Vandaag, today, gaan we oefenen. We go to practice met klanken, with sounds. Vandaag gaan we oefenen met klanken, met de G. Ja, de G. So yes, today we're going to practice with some sounds, especially the G sounds. But a little disclaimer, my G is very hard. That's because I'm from a region in the Netherlands where we pronounce the G kind of hard, like this. But there are some regions in the Netherlands where they pronounce the G much softer. So know that you can make it hard or you can make it soft. That's both fine. And lastly, in this video, we will also look at some variations of the G, namely the sh and the ng. And lastly, we will look at the H sound just to compare it. And before we start, I want to say that if you are a complete beginner and you want to learn more Dutch about the grammar and important phrases and words, and you want to practice reading and listening, then you can enroll in my Dutch for Beginners course. You can find the link to that course in the description. And I'm also very curious to know how your G is doing at the moment. Is it a hard sound for you or is it easy? And which word with G do you find hard or which one do you find beautiful? So share that with us in the comments. Now we will start with G. And first of all, if you can make a pot of tea, I would highly suggest that. Yeah, make yourself some tea because I want to encourage you to repeat after me and maybe your throat's gonna hurt. So have this close to you. Proost. And then we're gonna start right now. So first, repeat after me. G. This is the hard G. G. And the softer one is perhaps like it has more air. So how do we make this? You open your mouth and you keep it relaxed and you constrict your throat, the back of your throat, and you let air pass very slowly. Maybe if you take some of your tea and you do like that with tea or water at the back of your throat. Gorgelen, which is a beautiful Dutch word with a G. Gorgelen. That's what you do when you take some mouthwash and you want to go to the back of your throat. Well, actually, this is similar. Now we're gonna pronounce some Dutch words. And you can repeat after me. Goed. Goed. Softer would be goed. Goed. Yes, that sounds softer. Goed. Gaan. Gaan. Of gaan. That's softer. Geel. 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 Little bit softer. Groot. 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 Yeah? Have you repeated after me? And how did you do? Well, that was the G at the beginning of the word, but we can also place it at the end of the word. For example, leeg. 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 Softer. Leeg. Dag. 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 That's softer. Or weg. Weg. A little bit softer. Weg. Now that I hear when I say softer, I'm also putting the volume down, which is not necessary, of course. Weg. Weg. Then words with two G's. Goedemorgen. Of goedemiddag. Goedemorgen. Goedemiddag. Of genoeg, genoeg. Well, maybe you've seen that sometimes we write the G not with this letter, but like this, with the CH. In Dutch we call it CH. Sometimes you pronounce this combination as G, but sometimes you don't. So let's first look at when you pronounce it as a G. Chaos. Chaos. Or lach. En lachen. And tocht. Tocht. Yeah? So here it is pronounced as a G, but in some words when it starts with the CH, say, ha, it is pronounced as how it would be pronounced in the original language. Then it's sort of loan words. For example, chocolat or chocolade. You can say both, which resembles chocolat in French, and chef, which is also chef in English and I don't know which language. Or checken, which is to check. So then it's ch, the same as in chat, which is also chat in English. Yeah, so sometimes the CH is a G. Usually when it's at the end of the word, it is a G. And when it's at the beginning of a word, it can be G, it can be sh, it can be ch. You just have to learn that. Sometimes we put an S instead of the CH, instead of G, then it is sh. Sh. Yes, and then when it's at the beginning of a word, it's always sh. Let's look at some examples. School, school, schoen, schoen, schat, schat. En schrijven, schrijven. Other people would say schrijven, schrijven. That is maybe what most people say. But I say it like schrijven. Let's have a tea break. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Now we can continue. Sometimes this S, CH, is at the end of a word. And I think in most cases it is with an I in front of it. ISCH. And we don't say ISCH. This is something else. This is is. Yeah, we pronounce it as is. So here we don't say ch, but that's only when it's at the end of a word. For example, fantastisch, fantastisch, en logisch, logisch. And sometimes we combine the N with the G, and this is another sound. This is the sound. You also have this in English. When we look at the words, you see the translations in English and they have the same sound. For example, ding. And you can say also dingen, dingen. So this is in English thing and things. Are you still repeating after me, by the way? Okay, so ding, dingen. Lang and lange. So both long, lang, lange. And lastly, jong and jongen. Jong means young, the adjective, and jongen means a boy. It's a noun. So important, we don't say din or lang, lang or jong. No, this is ding, lang, jong. Ding, lang, jong. Lastly, I want to mention this sound. This is ha in Dutch. The H is ha. In some languages, you don't pronounce the ha, but in Dutch, we do. Sometimes it's a little bit soft, sometimes it's a little bit harder, but we do pronounce it. And actually, it's the same as in English. For example, hallo or hoi, huis, or hey. Hello, hoi, huis, hij. Okay, now some homework. Let's look again at the sentence from the intro, where I used words with all these sounds. I'm gonna pronounce it again, and now you have to repeat after me to see how you're doing. Goedemiddag. Hoe gaat het met jouw schaap, lekkerding? Goedemiddag. Hoe gaat het met jouw schaap, lekkerding? Goedemiddag. Hoe gaat het met jouw schaap, lekkerding? So can you make it, or does it still hurt your throat? Share it with us in the comments. I'm really dying to know how many of you can already make the G, or how many of you say like, no, I need at least 2 liters of tea with this exercise. If you want to learn the whole alphabet now in Dutch and also other important sounds, you can watch this video. Yes, I made that a couple of years ago and I cover all the letters in Dutch and a lot of really important sounds. And later I'm going to record some short videos like this, just focusing on a couple of very specific sounds. But otherwise, watch that video. And if you want to learn more Dutch in general, the grammar, phrases, words, etc., then you can check out the beginner's course. Here you can learn everything to get to A1 level and you can practice a lot. So you can find the link in the description down below. And if you want to learn more Dutch with me in general and you were not subscribed yet to this channel, you can do that now. And you can also give this video a thumbs up if you liked it or found it useful. That really helps me a lot. Thank you so much. Dank je wel. And I made a video before also about G, explaining much more about the G and also about the R. So if you want to watch that, then click here. So I will see you there, or maybe in another video. I wish you all a great day and see you soon in the next video. Doei!